will ask you simple questions. You will answer in short sentences only what you believe to be absolute truth.
Absolute truth. I can do that.
If you've heard me speak about Guillermo del Toro in the past, then you'll know I'm not the biggest fan of his. I do think he has done some great stuff, and the man is a brilliant visionary, having created some amazing things on screen. But my problem with him is that his stories don't usually match the aesthetics of the world he's created, resulting in an underwhelming product most of the time. Nightmare Alley is sadly no exception. I do love the costumes and the sets and the atmosphere, but the story is just so dull and makes so little impact that this one was really a hard one to sit through. Our story here follows Stanton Carlisle, played by Bradley Cooper, a man who seems to be running from his past and appropriately joins a circus. There he learns the art of the con man and figures out he's quite talented at deceiving others. As he goes deeper into conning more and more wealthy people, he finds himself in a dangerous situation where if he is found out, he may lose everything. Sounds exciting? Heck yeah, it does. Guillermo films usually do. But it's in the execution that I usually find fault with his films. To me, one of the biggest problems with this is that sort of time skip in the middle of the movie, because, especially that of the protagonist, he feels like we don't really get to see his arc completely. He's a somewhat quiet man, and he seems to be very caring at the beginning, and then we get that 2-year time skip, and he's just completely different. And I get that the film is trying to show us that, hey, this is who he's been the entire time, but what's happened within that time skip to start making that persona crack? What's leading him down this road? Because right now it feels like two completely different characters. We're missing that central arc right there, and I find big fault with it. Not only that, but the way the story moves from that midway point on is incredibly obvious. As I mentioned in an earlier review, I have no problem with familiar tales if they're done in interesting or unique ways. And while this film is visually unique, little else about it is. I feel no sense of motivation from Stan. It feels like he's obsessed with his goal because that's how it was written. I also don't feel any motivation from the antagonist, played by Cate Blanchett. Again, just coming off as, well, that's the way the character is written and nothing more. And let it be known that I have no problem with the acting. The acting here is actually very good. But I think the actors are also trying to figure out their characters, and there's scenes where I feel they're kind of lost in what their motivation is supposed to be as well. And I don't know, but certain scenes just kind of feel lifeless to me, personally. I think if they had really dove into the characters just a little bit more, and maybe tightened up the experience so it doesn't just drag on with scenes that just don't feel like they're adding anything to it, I feel we could have gotten a much stronger experience. Going back to what I said at the beginning, I do think this is a very visually pleasing film, especially that of the set of the circus, which is so freaking cool. I would have loved to explore that place. It's too bad that there's nothing afterwards that quite strikes that same visual style, but that doesn't mean that there aren't other cool visuals in the film. It continues that very unique and cool style. Again, there just nothing tops that circus from the very first act. Again, the costumes, the atmosphere, on a technical scale, the film is very, very well done. But no matter how beautiful it is to look at, it means nothing to me unless there's substance behind it. And that usually typically means either interesting or strong characters or writing or a mixture of all of that. And it's just not present here. I do think that there is a great film hiding somewhere, but I don't think we got it with this finished product. Because of this, I give Nightmare Alley a 2.5 out of 5 with a recommendation to skip it. Unless you're a huge Guillermo fan or can get by on just scenery alone, I really don't see anyone getting much enjoyment out of this. Yeah, I don't think the Guillermo fans are gonna appreciate this one too much, but I will always remain truthful to my experience of the films. And with this nightmare out of the way, I can now move on to the next review. So join me tomorrow, guys, for that one. Until then, stay safe out there, and like always, have a good one.